So how did education become the #1 issue, Larry?
Because one of the candidates decided it was his ticket to the governor's mansion, and he may well be right. The operative word is not critical, and it's not theory. It's race. What a shock, huh? Race. That is what matters, and that's why it sticks. There's a lot of, we can call it white backlash, white resistance, whatever you want to call it. It has to do with race. And so we live in a post-factual era anyway, Chris. This is a post-factual era. It doesn't matter that it isn't taught in Virginia schools. It's this generalized attitude that whites are being put upon, and we've got to do something about it, we being white voters.
Can you blame any moderate Virginia voters who may be on the fence, who also turned into cable news today and saw how the Democrats are behaving?
No, I can't blame anybody. I try not to blame people, but certainly for their opinions. This has been a disaster for Terry McAuliffe, a slowly unfolding disaster stretching over months. It's not just the president's falling ratings, though they're much lower than we ever expected they would be less than a year after he took office. I think far worse has been the inability of the Democrats in both houses of Congress to get their act together to, after 9 months, reach some kind of compromise, however inadequate it may be, and pass one or two, preferably both, of the big bills they have before Congress. Why is it exactly that Democratic voters want to turn out after it's been approximately a year, getting close to a year, and nothing's been delivered? This is true especially, I think, for minority voters, for black voters. I found it also to be true with young voters. The turnout among the young is going to be quite low, and even lower than it usually is. And with blacks, at least community leaders in many of the black communities say that there's been very little interest in this election. We can call it white backlash, white resistance, whatever you want to call it. It has to do with race. And so we live in a post-factual era anyway, Chris. This is a post-factual era. It doesn't matter that it isn't taught in Virginia schools. It's this generalized attitude that whites are being put upon, and we've got to do something about it, we being white voters.